Hello everyone and welcome to Europa Universalis 4. My name is Chief Gironca and today I will start a new Let's Play as Wallachia. And the goal of this campaign is to obtain the Dracula's Revenge achievement. And in order to get this achievement, we will have to form Romania and conquer all of the Balkans. Now I have the regions map mode enabled right now so you can have a look at the Balkan region. This blue region right here is basically what we're gonna have to own. Well, we don't actually have to own it ourselves. It's also possible if our subject owns this, but basically we're gonna have to conquer it. So yeah, let's have a little bit of a look at the specific requirements for forming Romania, because that is also one of the requirements. It says right here, form Romanian nation. So obviously not a subject nation, not a nomad nation. That is not really a big problem. So basically what needs to happen is Byzantium does not exist. Well, I think this is something the Ottomans will sort out for us. And then we basically need 6 provinces, 2 of which we already owned, Oltenia and Târgu. Then we also need 2, that was the wrong one. Then we need 2 provinces from our neighbor Moldavia. We're gonna need the province of Moldavia and Bessarabia. We're gonna need 1 province from Hungary, we're gonna need Maros, and we're gonna need Silistria from the Ottomans. Now, this is actually what makes this achievement so difficult or so hard to obtain, because as Wallachia you start out with no vassals, with no friends basically, very weak country, and next to the superpower Ottomans, the superpower Poland, and the at least strong nation Hungary. So it's really difficult to, you know, get your stuff started. But yeah, I'll see what I can do. Now, first off, we're just gonna do, you know, the normal thing, mothball our fort. We do have a truce with the Ottomans, which is basically only nation that's going to attack us, well, immediately. We're gonna have a look at our ideas. So, as you can see, we have discipline plus 5%, which is definitely gonna help us out when we have to fight our battles. And we have the increased hostile co-creation as, which is basically why people are less likely to declare war on us. Now the Ottomans will still declare war on us, probably, simply because they eventually will get a mission to vassalize Wallachia. But we should be pretty much safe from Hungary and Poland. They're at least not gonna be aggressive towards us. Now, as I said, we have already mothballed our fort. We should also probably go ahead and lower the funding of our troops, because we're gonna need all the money we can possibly get. Yeah, we can build 3 more units, and I think that we definitely want to do this. I don't like this automatically maintenance button because it kind of messes me up. Okay, so we can start building some troops, but we're probably not going to have enough money for 2 horses. So what I'm going to do is we're going to have a look at our estates. Now the boyars start out with 50 loyalty, so we can actually demand some military support from them, which will give us 100 military power. Awesome. So they're still above 30% loyalty, which is all we need. Now the burghers, same deal with them. They have 40%, so we can ask for a contribution. They're going to lose 5 loyalty, and we will gain 10 gold. And now with the clergy, we're going to have to first seek support of the clergy. It's going to mean we're going to lose 5 prestige and 5 legitimacy. But that will enable us to demand administrative support, so we're going to get 50 admin power, which I think is definitely worth it. So all of these states are now at 35% loyalty, which is kind of the best you can actually do it in the beginning. Okay, so we have all of this set up. We can build some more horses and also an infantry, and that was all of our money. Very nice. And we're going to have a look at our advisors. Hopefully we're going to have a diplomatic reputation guy. We do not. That is actually a big problem. But we're going to sort that out by firing these guys. But that makes it slightly more difficult than I thought it would be. Also, we're probably going to go ahead and focus on military, because we're going to have to get this military technology as soon as possible, basically, because it's going to help us out a great deal when fighting the Ottomans. So yeah, we can't hire an advisor just now, and the only one I would really want to hire in the beginning is a diplomatic reputation guy, because we will need to get some alliances. Now, what alliances are possible? At some point, we're going to have to go to war, as I said, with each of our bordering nations, basically. We need to. But in the beginning, we can't fight any of those on our own. Perhaps Hungary, but they're usually going to ally Austria. So what we're going to do is have a look at the Ottoman rivals, because Ottomans are truly our biggest threat. Now, luckily, Poland and Austria have both rivaled the Ottomans. Now, Austria is not that important or interesting to us, but Poland is certainly interesting because that should give us a bonus towards an alliance. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna immediately start improving relations with Poland. It's very close. I'm not entirely sure if we're gonna get up to 75 regions, but we're just gonna have to try. And if we're too close, or if we're a little point short, we're just gonna have to rise mercenaries to get our military or our army strength points up. But anyways, so improving relations with Poland. Now let's have a look at Hungary. Hungary unfortunately rivaled Poland, which, well, means we're basically not going to be able to ally both of these guys in order to fight the Ottomans. But they have also been rivaled by Bohemia and Venice. Now Venice is probably not going to ally us, but Bohemia might. They're actually closer to allying us than Poland. So if we're gonna, we might be able to get in alliance with Poland and Bohemia. Both of these nations could help us against the Ottomans and also against Hungary, which will probably ally with Austria. We're gonna need these people. So our first two wars will probably gonna be against Ottomans and the second one against Hungary. So let's improve relations with Bohemia as well. Okay, I think we're also ready to slowly start the game up, and then I can talk about my further strategy. Now, one big problem that we're going to face is that the Ottomans will very soon warn us. Now, it's not so much of a problem because, as I said, there's not many people who could have attacked anyways, because Poland's going to be too powerful, most likely. Hungary will ally Austria soon enough, so we can't fight them. And we obviously has a truce with the Ottomans, and also they would be too strong. We could have probably went ahead and declared war on Serbia, but and we could have won that war. I'm quite sure, even though they are allied with Bosnia, but we wouldn't really gain much out of that war. We could have vassalized them, but I think for now the safest, or the best we can do is just sit around, wait for our alliance with Poland, and then hope that the Ottomans will declare war on us, but that we win, basically. We also have a free merchant, I have just noticed that, so where are our merchants? We have a merchant in Constantinople, transferring trade power, so I think we're just gonna send this last idle merchant to, collect trade. There you go. And the other problem I said, obviously we will get warned by the Ottomans very soon, at least I think so. But they probably don't even need to warn us, because our current king or duke, Vlad Draculesti, he is 55 years old. So what means is, or what's gonna happen is, this guy will die very soon, and we will be in a regency council, which will prevent us from declaring war on anyone. And that is actually a problem, because oftentimes there could be an opening. Like, for example, Hungary. Sometimes they ally France, and they could end up in a war with England or someone else. Now, as I said, they have rivaled, or they have allied Austria, but still, they could at some point end up in a war, and we could potentially capitalize on that. But once we fall in a regency council, we won't be able to do anything. Now, I'm a little bit surprised because so far the Ottomans have not warned us. That is actually quite interesting, but they have warned quite a lot of other people that I think we're gonna be the next one. Yeah, they have rivaled everyone around them, so we're gotta be the next ones. There we are. So that is the warning. So we can no longer attack anyone without the Ottomans joining on the enemy side. But, well, as I said, it's not really a valid option anyways. So, okay, what we can do, however, is go ahead and perhaps pick a rival. The only rival we can really pick is Serbia, but that's going to give our power projection up at least by a little bit. You may also come back from Bohemia for quite a while, just so that I can send an insult and embargo these guys over here, because that will improve or increase our power projection. And power projection is quite useful. Okay, also send an insult in 19 days. Now, what that means, obviously, since we have a truce with the Ottomans for the next 4 years, the beginning of this campaign is not going to be very eventful. That's just the way it is. But once we have hopefully established our alliances, we'll probably be able to, give the Ottomans a big kick in the R's, and that should be nice. Okay, Bohemia, how close are we? Would you even take a royal marriage? It does not seem likely at the moment. Okay, perhaps they're even just gonna ally us right off the bat without even going for a royal marriage. That's possible too. And Venice has declared war on Albania, which is actually not a bad thing, because that means Venice and the Ottomans will share a border, and that means they are probably gonna go to war. At least I hope so. Now, what is this? We could have smugglers. No, we're unfortunately gonna have to pay them. And it is very unfortunate because we're gonna need this money to fire our diplomats, our diplomatic advisors. I think the first one I'm gonna fire is the spy offense guy, because I need that one the least. Trade efficiency is somewhat useful, and also the better relations over time can be useful, but spy offense I just don't need at the moment. Okay, so we also saw that Poland went ahead and got their personal union over Lithuania. Now, my hopes are here that obviously we'll be able to ally them, and as you can see, they have also allied Bohemia. That is not a problem at all. Hopefully, they will not, destroy themselves by attacking the Teutonic Order too soon and then just, dying. That would be very terrible. We need them. They're our most important ally. Now, it's also possible, I'm just going to talk about a couple of strategies that I have tried out, since this is not the first time I'm playing as Wallachia. A couple other strategies I did that did not really work for me was, allying with like Byzantium or, all of these small people. At some point I was even able to ally Bosnia, Serbia, and Byzantium. It doesn't really work. The Ottomans will declare war on Byzantium. That's going to drag you in, but you're not going to be able to call in Serbia and Bosnia, so you're basically just going to get wrecked. You could have, you could get lucky and the Ottomans don't take anything from you, and that's just going to create a new truce, but you haven't really won anything by that, because at the end of the day, you still have no allies. But the Ottomans grew stronger. So you really shouldn't do that. The Ottomans will grow stronger the longer, it takes for them to declare the first war on you. So you basically you have to dismantle the Ottomans as fast as you can. Another strategy that I already talked a little bit about was, declaring a day one no-CB war on, for example, Serbia. And what happened was I actually managed to win that war. It was very expensive. I went into that so deep. It was terrible. I was not yet bankrupt, but and I didn't have the bankruptcy looming, but it was still very bad. Now, at the end of the day, I managed to vassalize both Serbia and Bosnia, but the aggressive expansion was just too much to handle for me. So I got coalitioned and basically just died. I guess what I could have done is I could have just went ahead and only vassalized Serbia, or maybe only Bosnia, just, one of the two and not both of them. I didn't think about this. I don't exactly know why I didn't do it, but it's most likely because I don't know, I felt like this war was so tough to fight this against, these two bigger nations. I just wanted to get as much as possible out of the war. But yeah, as you can see, we have just gotten our royal marriage with Poland. We're not yet ready to get the alliance. So what we're gonna have to do is find ourselves an advisor that will do this for us. So as I said, we're gonna fire the spy offense guy, and hopefully, we're just gonna have to hope for a diplomatic reputation enhancing advisor. Now, I'm gonna also have a look at Bohemia. We might be able to ally them. No, they're also not interested in a royal marriage. So again, here we will also need the diplomatic advisor. That's very unfortunate. But yeah, let's have a look at our advisors. We fight a spy offense guy to get another spy offense guy. Well, that is a bummer. Okay, and as you could just see, the Ottomans declared their war against Byzantium, which is a problem. Now, these guys, they're not worth investing. Serbia is not worth investing because they're our rival, and Bosnia is allied to them, so we won't be able to ally any one of those. Albania is already at war, so they are not really helpful. Lithuania is in a personal union. Theodoro is a one province minor, and Karakurlu as well as Mamluks will never ally us, simply because we have the wrong religion. Okay, so now finally, after rehiring, or well, yeah, firing two guys, we are finally able to get one of these. What is this? Lose admin power, lose prestige, and the Boya estates will gain loyalty, or they will lose loyalty. Now that is very dangerous because that means they could actually get into the negative. Lose admin. I think we're going to lose the prestige here, even though that will probably mean that we're going to lose legitimacy as well. Actually, we can't afford to lose legitimacy because that is diplomatic reputation. So no, we're going to have to go for... Yeah, this is very dangerous actually. Because they could, you know, fall under 30% immediately. So yeah, we're going to have to look, or have an eye on that and perhaps do something about it. But yeah, for now, let's just accumulate as much money as we possibly can. These missions are all garbage. They're not really useful at all. Perhaps this one? Gain 10 prestige for 37 gold. We might be able to actually get that. That is actually quite possible. Still would be quite a while. Let's take that mission for now. I mean, if we fail, we fail. But we can take it for now. And we're gonna get this diplomatic reputation guide as soon as we can. I think what I want to do is just lock my diplomats on both Bohemia and Poland, just so we are at top relations all the time, and so that we're ready to get the alliances as soon as we have our diplomatic reputation guy. Now, I think it's probably going to be smart if we raise some more infantry here, because horses are truly expensive. Okay, our casus belli is running out, but also our truce with the Ottomans will run out this, well, December next year. Okay, so we still have a little bit of time left to get our alliances going. Whew. Now, unfortunately, as you can see, Poland seems like, well, it seems like they're getting their ass handed to them. That would be very unfortunate. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to see and find out. Yeah. I had one more run where I had Bohemia and Poland as my allies, and we got utterly destroyed by the Ottomans. So even having these two guys as an ally does not mean that, you know, you've won. You've got this campaign in the bag. No, not at all. And that only means the first war with the Ottomans. You know, there's still other people you're gonna have to fight. Obviously, Austria and Hungary are allied, and you're also gonna have to fight Poland, Lithuania at some point. So, you know, it's just for now. Let's do baby steps and try to get these alliances in order to defend against the Ottomans. Now, the problem I see right now is that as soon as I get this diplomat, we're gonna have, well, we're not gonna have immediately a deficit, but we're not gonna be able to make much money. Right, so there we go. I think as soon as I take this loan, we're gonna fail our mission, but, well, that's just the way it is. Let's see if we can get this alliance with Poland. It's very close, actually. So if we would just build a couple more mercenaries, we should be able to get this alliance. So what we're going to have to do is take a loan. And that it actually not yet get rid of our mission. Interesting. Well, let's build... Since we do have manpower, we might as well build a regular guy, 2 regulars, and let's see how that works. Okay, so we did fail our mission. Yeah, that was to be expected. The other missions are rather garbage, so I don't even bother picking any one of them. Good. So once these guys are built, we should be able to get the alliance. Let's come back from Bohemia, just so we have our spare diplomat. Okay, it takes 1 more month until our troops are built, and then hopefully everything will work out. Okay, only one reason. Hopefully these 2 troops will be enough to persuade Poland. Yes, it actually is just enough. So yeah, let's secure this alliance with Poland first, and then have a look at what Bohemia demands. They're actually a little bit further away, but that is mostly because they are royal. We don't have a royal marriage yet. Okay, well, it seems like we're not gonna get the royal marriage anytime soon. So, yeah. Guess we're just gonna have to run a little bit of a deficit for now. What we could do is completely get rid of our castle, and I actually should have done that earlier. I don't even know why I didn't do that. That was a big mistake. I should have done that immediately, simply because once it gets to sieging our provinces, if that happens, then we have already lost. So basically, we're gonna have to win the wars in the field, because we only have 3 provinces really. So yeah, let's get our troops together. We can't actually do that. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna call this an episode here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We have allied Poland, and that should hopefully be enough to defend ourselves against the Ottomans. But I guess we will see. Join me next time to find out.